biggest things with this was like trying not to look at that screen while we're on here because I know most part I'm gonna be like doing this shit and like, what is this nigga looking at the whole time? There's a screen up there. So, but what's going on, y'all? My name is Brandon.
Matt.
This is the Infinite Psyche podcast. This is our very first taping ever, so I'm sure you can tell at this point. We are starting this pretty much because, we're tired of the lack of content in this world, man. Whenever me and this guy get together to talk, it's informative. It's constant, just an evolution of just whatever is going on within our lives to where we couldn't just sit and listen to some random dude talk about, I don't know, name it, bro.
The lack of quality.
Lack of quality, yeah. So our intent is to, just bring a little quality to this world. Any, best way we know how to.
It's also a cool little way to have like a lookbook to look back on, and like it's kind of for us in a way too, because we want to look back and remember those conversations. Everyone's doing podcasts nowadays, and I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts, if any, but I thought the idea was cool because we have so many good conversations. To be able to recall that, or maybe even share with like my kin one day, it would be cool.
Definitely.
That's why we take photos. It's just like an audio and video photo book.
Yeah,
so
100%, man. We live in that day and age to be able to document like that. So, I ain't much of a picture taker. You can ask my girl. She be trying to force me into this selfie and that selfie, and I got to be in this position while holding my right hip. I don't know, that's, I love her for that, and I know it's special to her because it's stuff she likes to look back on later on. So, and this is, I guess, our way of doing that type of thing. So, we got some interesting things to talk about today. We spent most of this day just honestly talking, prepping for this moment. We weren't sure we were going to have all the components together, but it tied together pretty nicely, I'd say.
Yeah.
It looks pretty legit. We got some UFC fights going on. It's Renato Moicano fighting the Korean Zombie tonight, if anybody interested in that. Well, I don't know if tonight would matter for anybody listening later on, but it's happening on a Saturday. You
can go back and look at the tape.
Exactly. So what's up, man? What's the first thing on your mind today?
Oh man, just kind of enjoying my time off from work. It's been 5 days now that I had time off work, and like I'm just trying to learn to appreciate the time off.
For sure.
Because like you're so used to getting a certain amount of money, but I realized that I set a budget for myself for this exact reason. Because like I work with him at Sprouts, and the thing about those types of companies is they're going to play games, and I don't know if I'm like getting along with a manager at the time, and maybe that's why it's happening. Right. But I think that I'm learning to be more grateful for having time off.
For sure.
Because I could very well easily go get another job if I wanted to fill that time.
Definitely.
So.
Definitely.
Yeah, but what about you, man?
On a similar tip of just definitely just trying to be more appreciative, trying to be more grateful of what's going on right now rather than stressing over, intangibles. Yeah. And, in my instance, I'm trying to get a spot with my lady. I'm trying to, get us to a position where we can move comfortably. And I can't really do nothing about that right now aside from just work and exercise and stay in shape and stay healthy. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on. The money's coming in when it's coming in, and aside from that, I'm just I've been putting more time into making sure my mind's right as well as my body. We're still young, so we can still get away with most things, but we're not gonna be young forever.
Facts.
And I want a nice oiled working body when I'm like 67 years old. I want to still be able to go out and run and do some stuff. So I figure if I take care of that right now, everything else always just seems to fall into place once you just decide to work on yourself, So
yeah, no, I think the theme definitely is gratitude then.
Yes.
Because like you said, there's always something that you have as far as a goal is concerned, because there's a certain amount of quality of life that you will not settle any less for. and that comes with a price tag. And
Definitely.
if people talk about, oh, I want these flashy cars and a big house, work a lot.
Yeah.
Or cheat a lot of people. Like, it's going to be one of the two ways. Like, a big price tag comes with big aspirations. So being grateful kind of lowers that price tag and a lot of the cortisol levels, because like your stress isn't as intense.
Yeah.
Because you're learning to be appreciative of what you have. And what you said is pretty eye-opening. I think that's absolutely correct. Like, working on yourself, it plays into everything else, because if you love yourself, you love others more.
Yep.
If you enjoy your time with you, then you enjoy your time with others more, and they can enjoy your time, because it's not like it's not contrived. It's very natural. So yeah, gratitude is a very powerful thing. But that's, it's a hard thing to practice. It's like a muscle.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, exactly. No, it's facts though, bro. Because I can speak for myself. It's real easy to take stuff for granted sometimes, especially when
I do it.
You're used to having the thing around all the time, you know? So that's probably been my biggest downfall with a lot of my upbringing and me growing up, not to say I had it easy or anything, because I'm about as rough as anybody coming up in Oceanside. It's obviously still, I had a very blessed upbringing. I know some of you people out there have had it way worse. Totally understand. Not saying that any different, but coming from where I've come from into where I'm at now, it's easy for me to even forget about my childhood and stuff because of how I'm acting now, and where my confidence is at now, and how I feel now. Because I wasn't no confident kid back then. Anybody who knows me from high school, elementary school, middle school, maybe not elementary school, I was a little bit more talkative back then, but I moved districts at that point from elementary to middle. But most of those people, I was a quiet kid. I wasn't no outgoing person. You wouldn't expect me to be the one hopping in the middle of the stage at school dances or being on what was those clubs for people who class president and all that.
ASB.
ASB, there it is. Yeah, no, none of that. I stayed away from those offices. Yeah. That meant talking to everybody, and I wasn't trying to do none of that. But it's looking back and knowing who that kid was into the person I became now, and even still trying to grow from where I'm at. I'm grateful, man. I need to remember that, because otherwise I'm not going to continue to grow. I might get complacent, and I've been in a place of complacency, and that's not a good state, man.
It's a scary place.
Yeah.
And since this is our first episode, I definitely want everyone watching to know, like, how I define me is the older I get, the less I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I used to have, and like, people watching this that do know me, like you said, they're going to feel a certain way, because like I acted different. Like, I was different, and like I have to bear the responsibility for actions that I've done and how I've acted. But like you said, I echo that. I'm grateful for who I'm becoming, and the progress I've made, because it's what people deserve. Like, when people are giving their time to hang out with me or to share something, like whatever it may be in that situation, they deserve the best of me so that I can bring out the best in them. And that just really came with me just saying, like, I ain't shit. Like, and that's the truth. Like, I'm not. Like, I'm just another body in the 7 billion people here, But gratitude has made me still, with knowing that I can love myself.
Definitely.
And that's valid, you know? So.
Oh, yeah.
And that's true of anyone. Like,
100%. There's not a soul in this world that don't deserve a shot at life. No. Period, man. We're all just trying to stay spinning on this big ass world together, man. It's just wait. I don't understand why that's such a hard concept for people. It
might be that people take themselves too seriously.
That's for sure. I know quite a few things like that.
Yeah.
So
because if you think, like, when people get a lot of money and power, like certain individuals, I won't even name because we don't need to limit our niche base that hasn't even begun yet.
But shots fired, niggas.
But let's just say when people have money and power, they if they haven't like humbled themselves and they still take themselves very serious, real people get caught in the crossfire.
For sure.
In the form of many different forms of evil that you want to define it as. So like they're overworked, they're not taken into consideration. You take the bonuses away from the top elites right now, not the salaries that CEOs make, just the bonuses. Yep. Everyone's minimum wage federally would be $33 an hour. So
robbery.
And that's still,
we know.
Even giving us $20 an hour would help, because even Henry Ford, that guy was racist, but Henry Ford, he didn't like Jewish people, but he did give people Saturday off because he knew, gosh, there's no time for people to spend money on my cars. Exactly. Give us money, give us the opportunity to spend it, give us happiness, and watch the economy flourish.
Yeah.
But everyone's taking themselves so seriously, they want to be the only person driving the Lamborghini. Because, like, it's not special if everyone has one. Yeah. Well, then fuck your Lamborghini. Yeah.
Like... By the way, since I already know where this might go for some people, we are not a politically charged thing. We never will be. We have opinions on stuff because we're human beings like everybody else is. And, y'all can decide to put us in whatever category, but that's y'all. We're not sitting here saying none of it. We're just expressing ourselves. That's it. Yeah, that's all it ever will be.
Like right now, it's a really politically charged atmosphere, and people will want to define that. They see a video of a cat, they go, oh, and they're going to make it left or right immediately. Yeah. But just know that as this podcast continues and the turmoil kind of subsides, that's where we always have been in the genesis that's starting now. Definitely. It's a neutral state. Like, we have our opinions, but you don't need to know that because it's not a political podcast. We're not, Tommy Lauren or Hassan Piker. We're our own people. Yeah. Point is, not a political podcast. No. So if you're looking for that, you can go click somewhere else.
Move along home, because it ain't here, bro.
There's plenty on the internet, trust.
Yeah. I'm sure anybody who wants anything even kind of close to that, you'll get a fix as far as just basic opinions on culture and shit. But it won't ever extend further than that.
Yeah, so how would you define this podcast?
I was trying to think of that this entire time, and I still didn't come up with something. But I mean,
we'll definitely be talking about our own experiences.
Yeah, for sure. So introspective is a good word.
And the perspectives that we have and the opinions that we're offering come from a unique lens. At least we feel so. One thing that got us excited about doing the podcast was that we've not really listened to a lot. We kind of experienced our own things. Yeah. Embraced struggle. Definitely. And that's kind of been what's got me excited about it, is like, you're authentic. So it's an authentic perspective. Because a lot of young kids are doing these podcasts, but I wonder if, there's something that we can offer to this space.
For sure.
From the time that we were brought up in our upbringing, like you were saying,
Definitely. I see that in my, I was telling you earlier, my girl's nephew. He's always watching like different YouTube videos of, you name it, either some kid playing a video game or some kid like maybe watching like a movie or looking like at an image online or something, and he's like, maybe like just saying something funny about it or making a comment like, oh, look at this kid's hair in this picture. Oh, it looks good. Something dumb, and maybe it gets a good little laugh out the kid at the time, and I'm sure the kid's entertained, but is he gonna remember that in the next 3 months or so? No, that's gone. That video is gonna go right into oblivion, and at least in his mind. Maybe the next kid will pick it up and watch it, but I don't know, man. Like, is that what we're defined by these days? Get whatever you can in people's faces for as quick as possible and then let it die? Like, that's not how I was taught for things to come up. Like, with the quality and even music, the movies I watch. I still watch movies to this day that I saw when I was like 6 years old that I will watch now because it was legit back then and it's still legit now. But it's because it was the time that it was put into the quality of what it is. And the fact that it gave me something. Like, I got something from it. The Matrix trilogy. A lot of people, probably have whatever feeling on it, think it's nerdy or whatever. But I learned some crazy life lessons from that movie.
They know John Wick. We remember him as Neo.
Yeah, 100%.
So
even when, like, I don't know if we should do spoiler alerts or nothing, but y'all should see the third one.
Yes.
See it. It's great.
It's a great trilogy.
Especially if you're a Matrix fan, because there's a little, no, I won't say too much, but let's watch it.
Like John Wick's cool, but like Keanu has a lot more depth than just
for
that.
sure.
Yeah, you know, and like and he's even been in movies earlier than that. But that's not my generation to speak on.
No, but even still, that set him up for this one.
Yeah,
you know, he's but even then, he's a multi-generation figure, man.
That's the thing. I think our podcast will definitely have a lot of cultural things,
sure,
analyzing culture, just
sure.
enjoying culture and speaking on it. Like for instance, you guys know Jason Momoa from Aquaman or Game of Thrones. I remember him from Baywatch.
Oh shit!
You know, like without the beard, he was youngin'. So like it's
that's
just
back.
Yeah, you know, but like it was still airing on TV. Like when you would go home and you would run. At least for me in middle school, I'm 28, but I would run home, and I would just like wait to see the music videos dropped on MTV. I think that what was the one like. Petey Pablo was out, and like you know, like
I forgot all about those. I was back
when MTV played music videos.
Yeah, exactly. When they did, like, what do they even do now? I just feel like I see ridiculousness on.
Teen Mom OG.
Oh gosh,
she's back. She's pregnant
again. But that's just that all wraps right back around to what we're talking about, man.
Yeah,
you know, it's people who are getting these couple minutes of fame and then just doing whatever it takes to get those couple minutes of fame.
Like Catch Me Outside.
Oh gosh.
Cardi B. And that's the thing, like we were talking about, is the until the culture decides to not want to ingest that, that's what they're going to keep producing because it's a business. Yep. And if they say that's what consumers want to consume, we just mass produce it. Yep. So
hear that, consumers? It's on.
Yeah,
y'all.
Your dollar's your vote.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time.
Facts. You know, people don't take credit for that, or don't not credit. Accountability. Yeah. Hold yourselves accountable. If you hold yourselves accountable, hold your artists accountable, they'll create better stuff. They'll be forced to, because if they realize what they're doing is not what people want to hear no more, they're gonna. It forces you out of your own box, out of your comfort zone. Everybody needs to get kicked out of that comfort zone here and there, because then you don't grow. Aside from that, I know way too many people within my own life who have been within that comfort box so long that even dipping a pinky toe out is like you're taking away their life. And I'm not that old. I'm only 26 years old, but man, I have way too much drive and energy in me to let any one thing get me down for longer than a day or two.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Don't get hung up on that stuff.
No, man, you can't.
Because then you just give them the power.
Yeah.
And I hate quoting this because, like, I have people, like, come up to me all the time and bring it up. So I hear it a lot. So you might have heard this, but, like, there was 2 monks crossing a river. And there was a woman crossing, too, and she was having a hard time. So one of the monks picked her up and carried her across the river and put her down on the other side. And the brother was mad at him because monks are not supposed to touch women at all. Right. From this hyperbole, or that's not the right word, but you get it. Yeah, so they keep walking down, and gosh, they're like far down the path, and the brother goes, I still can't believe he did that. And he goes, brother, I let her down at the other side of the river. You carried her all this way. Let it go. Yeah. Mm. Because like when you're giving energy and thoughts, it's okay to vent, but then to move forward is so important, because otherwise you give that person more power over your life.
True.
True.
So, it's very important.
Just as hard as it is just let it go.
Yeah, man.
Let it go. Yeah. Don't hold it back anymore.
You will hear a lot of music too. We're both big music heads, so
understatement.
Yeah, no.
It'll be this is a music podcast.
Oh, for sure. Like
it's extra stuff in it.
Exactly. Like that's primarily what it is. So I know we haven't even talked about music yet, but that's because that's an entire segment in and of itself. Absolutely. And we'll get there. Don't even worry about that.
We're gonna be using a lot of musical references for examples when it's just like, wait, you use a music reference?
Exactly. Yeah, I'll be breaking down a fight and talking about compressors and faders and how you gotta automation is what times the kicks properly. You know what I'm saying? Well, it gets mixed in because it's life. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's life for us too. So,
but yeah, gratitude's important because it helps you get over those situations too. Going back to the theme, you're grateful, then you won't be so hung up on what happened at work. You can easily wash that off. Yep. Walk into your home and be like, wow, I got a place to sleep, shower, take your shit.
Yeah. Like, the necessities, you know.
Have food.
Yeah.
So
no. Definitely it's something that needs to be practiced. You know, along with a lot of things in life is practice. You know, you gotta, if you want something, if you want to get good at something, you gotta put in the time for it. You gotta be willing to, maybe have a day where you're not feeling grateful at all, but that's probably the day you should be extra grateful, because that's gonna train your body and your mind to be like, all right, well, I need to be in this general mode. I need to be, even when it's not what I'm feeling. And that's not to say that everybody doesn't have off days here and there, because we all do.
And those are valid, yeah.
It's how you handle and how you grow from that stuff. Cliches, bro. I got them all for days. What you want?
Well, it's like it's not the power of the river; it's the consistency of the river that carves mountains.
For sure.
For sure. It does take practice. It takes consistency. It's okay to have off days, but as long as you get back on it, just take whatever time you need. A lot of people have come to a point in their health where they can be in tune with their bodies, but I think a lot of people aren't in tune with their mental health, and that's very important.
For sure.
I've met a lot of people who are like working on their spiritual health, and we've had a conversation about this, but they hadn't worked on their mental health yet. So like they're trying to show off that they have so much spiritual growth.
Yeah.
And that goes back to mental health. I don't think that they're fully happy with their situation and their selves, because like we said, spiritual narcissists are probably halfway on the process of being enlightened. Being enlightened, you wouldn't really be throwing it in people's face all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You would just be like, oh, I ain't shit. Like we talked about, like that's a very important part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, like, even if you had money, Brandon, like if someone gave you $10 million tomorrow, how would you go about spending that money?
See, I'm already thinking of investments, different businesses I could start, ways to have that money flip back around. Just because, like, $10 million, great, you can do a lot with it. Yeah. But money, once you use money, it goes. So what are you gonna do from there? Are you gonna buy 10 Lamborghinis? Can you live in 10 Lamborghinis and eat 10 Lamborghinis? Yeah. Will 10 Lamborghinis support you for the next several years on top of your offspring and everything? No, they're not. Exactly. Sorry. Have you tried to eat a Lamborghini? Nigga, you probably break all your teeth. Okay? So I understand the need to want to flaunt, because it's inherent, I would say, in our nature for whatever reason, especially men. It's just having as much testosterone and stuff. It tends to make us want to, it comes out. It comes out in whatever form that is natural to the person,
Absolutely.
But at the same time, you have to channel that properly. I know for me, I'm trying to get my mom in a good spot. She has her own little business she's starting. I'd set her up, make sure that her business is going chilling, because then that would just lead back into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'd make my girl, she's trying to have her own business. I'm set her up too. People, and on top of, having it work for myself. So because I guarantee by the end of all that, I'm still probably have like a cool maybe $1 million or $2 million to myself.
Yeah.
That's plenty.
Yeah.
Like if I had $5,000 to myself right now, I would be stoked.
Computer problems again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is definitely the first episode. But hopefully y'all have enjoyed some of what we've talked about so far. This is us, dipping our toes into it, but it's been fun. I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying this. It's cool.
Yeah. It's nice to just, like I said, have a look back on what we were talking about, because sometimes I'm thinking like, oh man, that was a great conversation with Brandon. Now I have an easy recall for it. I can
exactly.
Pull it back up.
Exactly.
But yeah, you were talking about what you would do with $10 million, and pretty much like summarizing like that.
Yeah, just reinvestment, man. One, reinvestment, and then two, not letting yourself be defined by constantly needing more.
Yeah.
And have your number,
Have your number is the name of the game. Like the thing cut off, but what I was pretty much saying in summary was that you have one of two ways you go with this. It's important to have a number in your head, and once you hit that number, not let greed and taking yourself too serious take over.
For sure.
Because quality of life will suffer no matter the amenities you're afforded.
Yeah.
But also, if you're on the other side and you're like, let's just say a regular at Burning Man. And nothing against you, Burning Man's rad.
Yeah.
But you can't just not work and not have things, because money is a form of energy. And yeah, there's other ways the universe could provide for you and stuff like that. But you're going to need to put some effort in.
Yeah.
And when you hit that number, and this all comes at different numbers and price tags. Some people say, I'm happy with just this. Perfect. You got life figured out, work to that dollar amount, and then you're done. Other people, maybe you want to start a family and have 10 kids. Not me personally, but if that's your goal,
right.
know that comes at a price tag that's a little steeper than mine, not wanting kids. So it's something to consider and not get overwhelmed with. So don't be on this side where you're like super hippy dippy and you're like, I'm going to quit my job and just, well, hold on. Have some securities. Have that security come in the form of capital. Because running a few businesses, I've learned is you never want to start a business on credit, ever. It's horrible. It's a bad idea. Like starting a sushi restaurant with my old partner, we had borrowed like $250,000. Ooh. It took 3 years to pay it back. Dang. And that's a restaurant that like was doing revenue of $1 million a year. Yeah. And we didn't see a penny of it. Dang. And we still had cost and expenses. Yeah. And that's a huge thing is if you're working, just think of it like every day you're closer to your dream. Just whether that's you not having to work or whether it's pursuing a hobby or starting a family. Yeah. It's all valid. Yep. It all matters. Just don't go past that. Just enjoy what you've worked hard to earn. Yep. And then work hard to earn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's big thing, man. Gotta work. You gotta put the time in. If you want it, I know everybody hears it all the time, but you gotta go get it. It's really that simple. There's not a work way around. There's no cheat code. There's no pay to win, nigga. You gotta fucking go. Yeah. Like why? But why not? Why not go? What else? What could really be stopping you from going? You know, I'm sure I've used every excuse in the book, man. I think of two right now, but why? How are those gonna get me anything better? How are those gonna get me out of the situations I'm in? Yeah. You know, they aren't. Me working, me putting my time and the effort into doing it, plus me wanting it and manifesting it and putting my right mindset towards it. It goes hand in hand, man. You know, the mental is nothing without the physical and vice versa. You need both to be a complete being.
Absolutely.
You know, and none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
In that sense.
I think I find that usually you get the people that are like, oh, well, you know, like the universe will just provide it for me if I will it so. Those, from my experience, I found are people that have had a lot of things handed to them. So they expect the universe to hand it to them. Yeah. And people that have come from the bottom to the top, let's just use Drake as an example. Music. The thing is, they just keep going and they don't stop and enjoy. Yeah. I see him put another album out and it's, you know, flashier and flashier and flashier. And it's like, how much flash do you need? Yeah. You know, just enjoy. Just enjoy. For sure. Just let the money work on its own and the money markets in our economy. Let the U.S. economy work. Let the money work for you.
For sure.
And just make music that you enjoy making. Yeah. But don't do it in a form to say, look what I have and look what I, you know, that's not what you're about. You know, like you've made it. Stop working. Because those people, they have it ingrained to keep working and working and working. Yeah. But he's already made it, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Time to enjoy.
Oh, for sure. I feel like as I'm a very strong, whatever word that. Put a word in there.
Yeah, take your pick.
I am a Drake fan. For quite a minute, and I can say personally, it's honestly it's funny because I actually can tell he's enjoying himself now, but because he's lost somewhat of the hunger that got him there. He's almost having so much fun making these records that he's just throwing out playlists instead of albums. Like his last 2 tapes were considered like playlists, even though he dropped them as albums. They're just a big collection of songs that there wasn't an overlying theme to the whole tape. There wasn't like some big connecting tissue that binded it all together. There wasn't some overall thought that I think was put into it. It was just a collection of a bunch of good songs, but that's it, just put together because that's what he was working on at the time. And
maybe I should redefine because I haven't heard the new Drake stuff, but if that's the case, it's kind of like Avicii. There's a documentary on Netflix about how he was then told after he's had a couple hits, like, you need to make hits now. Oh, yeah. And that kind of pressure and stuff, like, it's just you're not going to be the same artist you were, and it's really hard to keep making hits and hits. But when you sign a label, that's what they're going to tell you is that you need to produce a certain amount of albums, and that's something that every artist, including Drake, has gone through. But maybe a better example would be like not Drake, but like the Mafia. Like let's just say La Cosa Nostra in Sicily, right? They have a certain amount of businesses that pay their bills and their quality of life they want, but then they keep doing it. Yeah. They just grow in power and they grow more in power, and it's like you don't love that lifestyle. No one loves that gang lifestyle. Like once you grow up, you're like, I'm not about that. It's just an ins to a mean. It's an ins to a mean to reach that goal. Like I said, you either cheat someone or you work hard for something, and like, but once you're there, like, there's nothing glorifying about what they do. Yeah, and exactly. That was probably a better example. I haven't heard the new stuff though, but I'll have to listen to that.
I mean, like I said, man, I like it because I'm a big fan. I am a big Drake fan, so it's easy for me to hop on the music he makes. It's also easy for me to, I hold my artists accountable. That's why I said everything I said. Drake, if we ever have a conversation one day, I'll fucks with you, boy. You know this. But I was putting on niggas on you before anything else. But at the same time, like we both know it's not like this is a big surprise to you if you were to hear this. I'm sure other people have already said this. I've heard Joe Budden say it way worse than I did. I merely put it in just how I kind of see it. And for me, it's not a negative. I enjoyed both tapes. They're both, to me, were solid tapes that I still listen to. They're both still on my playlist. Yeah. But that's just the thing. There's your album content, and then there's your, like, this is me having fun content. And there's nothing wrong with either. But if you're going to it expecting some crazy quality album and then you get hit with that, it might throw you off a bit.
Yeah.
And it might, it might switch up how you kind of see the artist. But if you already know the person, and for me, actually knowing how the person is in real life is a big factor into me listening to them as well. As Drake's obviously not some crazy helpful political, figure who's donating to the masses and all that stuff. Yeah. But he is generally a chilling person. Yeah. He works hard for the people around him. He cares about the people around him. You see him with his basketball team. He's got a lot of shade for holding the trophy. But if you look, like, he put money into their stadium. He put money into their system. And look where they're at. They got the ring or that. Sorry, y'all. I know I'm ignorant, but they won. Like, and I was not saying it's because of Drake, but he put time and he invested in something he cared about, and that's somebody I can rock with.
And that's actually why I might slightly disagree on the whole thing with the album. I'm glad he's having fun. Yeah. I think it's really hard for artists to have fun at a certain point because of expectations, and like I've seen a lot of artists just fall off because they weren't enjoying it anymore. For sure. And in worst case scenarios, like, Avicii having to drink himself to death, or like Kurt Cobain and like the Doors. And they just the lead singer of Linkin Park, like suicide's a huge thing, and that goes to a whole nother topic we'll go into about men being vulnerable. But
for sure,
it's tough in the music world, and it's cool to see him having fun. I like to see that he's having fun. I should probably listen to these albums, but as far as maybe like the quality and the mix down, that's a whole nother topic. No, I haven't heard it though, so I don't know.
I mean, I get the heart of what you're getting at though, and I would agree with it because it's. We definitely, I know, I mean, I'm probably going to be working hard for a good amount of my life, but once I get to that point where it's chilling, I'm done, nigga. I'm putting it down. Yeah. I'm rolling up blunts on the beach with my lady, and I'm done. Y'all ain't going to see me for months, years at a time. I'll pop up, say what's up to everybody, and then I'm gone again. Like, as long as my kids are straight, my legacy lives on, I'll be cool. I don't need much else than that.
Yeah. And with that being said too, nothing is like permanent. Like if you have a new goal that comes about when you're older, you're like, hey, you know what I want to pick up? New price tag, new amount of work has to go in. So that's why, like he was saying, it's smart to invest because then money has worked for you and it might provide that so you don't have to go back into the workspace.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because the game is rigged to where if you have money, money does things for you. Yeah. I earn dividends, a perfect example. I get a paycheck just for having money. Yeah. It's not a lot right now, but I don't have a lot of money. But if I had a lot, it'd be enough to sustain the quality of life that I want.
Right.
100%. So, but Drake was probably the worst example because like now that I'm hearing all this, like, the opposite of that. He is enjoying more the mafia example. Like, why keep gaining power? Like,
for sure,
just use the U.S. economy at that point. Invest it into Wall Street and call it good.
Yeah. But it's that. But that's permeated throughout the culture, man. More. Yeah. Just that word, more.
Yeah, more.
No, name it.
Yeah.
makeup industry.
More, just give it to me.
More.
One of
give
the
it
two,
to,
yeah.
both. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one or the other.
You need to be a realist.
I can't. It's too much, man. I only got so much energy for so much shit these days. Like, I have enough energy to work hard for what I want, for the people around me, and then that's it. Yeah. Anything else is extra, and it gets canned, man. Because like you said, we're here for a short time, man. It's a good life we're here for, and we're trying to make sure as happy and great as possible before it's all over. I'm trying to be happy, man, and I know what happiness is for me. It's not being a billionaire or nothing like that. It's being comfortable around and being chilling, not having to worry about nothing.
And I gotta credit a lot of the thoughts that I think have formulated for this conversation might have even come from certain different places from different people. So one thing that comes to mind is Tony Robbins had spoken in the video that I watched a while ago. Good. And he said that, you're thinking, a lot of people think that when you have money, you're happy, but that's not true. If you're not happy now and you have money, you'll just be someone that's not happy who has money. Yeah. If you're happy now, and when money comes, you'll be happy and have money. Yeah. And money has its intent and purposes, but it's not happiness. Like, exactly. Anytime you've gone to the store and bought something, as soon as you leave that store, what's that feeling?
Yeah, for sure.
it kind of reminds me of social media. They said dopamine and cortisol is released when you go and scroll through. So you get that happy feeling, but cortisol is a stress chemical, and you're getting both. So it's we're addicted to something that leaves us feeling drained and unhappy, and just it's a certain unique thing that this phone can do. Aside from attention and focus being lost, it's something that I feel depletes happiness.
I feel that.
So watching your cortisol and dopamine levels are very important. You can do a workout, you get a nice shot of dopamine without the cortisol. I mean, there's some cortisol, but not in the way that we're talking.
No, for sure. That's definitely.
You're picking back off of evolution there, just saying, okay, you've exerted yourself. We want to make sure that we reward you for that, because that's required. Yeah, which goes into what you're saying. You got to work for things physically back in the day. Now,
it all circles back around, man. You work hard for something, you reap the benefits from it. Yeah.
So what would you say is the secret to maybe getting close to achieving that happiness?
That's 100% a case by case thing. Everybody has a different idea of what would make them happy within life. I think deep down that is kind of universal would be, just being able to do something you love doing and have that be able to sustain your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think that is at heart what anybody wants to do. I see plenty of people on like my Facebook who are just getting out of school and now they're trying to start their different businesses and whatnot. And I can tell the differences between the people who will probably make it and those who won't. Yeah. The ones who will make it are the ones who are grinding, and you could tell they legitimately love what they're doing with each and every post. And then there's the ones who are saying just merely because they have the degree now that this is what they're doing, and I can do this because I have a piece of paper. Yeah. Like, that's great. I'm glad you got the piece of paper. I'm glad you put in all that time, because that's a lot of hard work and stuff too. It is. But do you actually enjoy doing that? Was that fun for you at all? Was your end result what you actually want to do?
Yeah.
And if it's not, or you're not checking off enough of those things, how is that? That can't be happiness. I have homies who are going to law school and stuff, and I'm sure they're gonna be happy with the checks they're getting once they're out and stuff. But they're not. I wouldn't necessarily say they're happy people right now.
And that's the thing too. Like, I agree with what you said. Like, it's a case by case scenario. I think for me personally, it'd be gratitude. I think the more grateful you are with what you have, and learn to say thank you to yourself for the things in your life, it might help. But when it comes to businesses, one thing I got to let anyone know starting a business is, like, not only not borrow on credit, but also make sure that you do your bookkeeping. 80% of businesses fail because of bad bookkeeping. And yeah, it's a whole nother job that might not be the part that you enjoy, but hire an accountant then.
Yeah, for sure. There you
Outsource the accounting job. Get an intern to do it. It's so vital because, and this is a totally different topic, but just on that note, again, like if I have anything to pay, and both my businesses that I've been a part of, like I'm no longer a part of, and it didn't turn out to really benefit my future outside of the learning experience as far as financially. But these things I have learned, and I will not make those mistakes again. So if you're starting, let me save you those mistakes. Like save your money, use your own capital, not a bank who's going to charge you interest rates that are pretty much like loan sharks, and do your bookkeeping. And like he said, make sure it's something that you're happy doing. And hobbies are like speed dating. At a certain age, I would say early 20s, you're dating a bunch of different hobbies and figuring out and trying what you might like and what you might not. But once you know, and you'll know, make that a part of your goal for that financial price tag we were talking about. And just be grateful for what you have and then enjoy the journey.
Exactly. That sounds like good to me, man. You know, I don't know how you hit it much more on the head than that. It's things we talk about. You know, I always say like these feel like simple concepts. You know, these feel like these are things that most people should just kind of know. It should be already ingrained because we've had a lot of experiences, but we're not necessarily like old yet. There's still my bad interruption. I'm not even sure who that is, but anyways, it's nice to know that someone else is on a similar wavelength, because I can't tell you how many people I meet daily who are just one couple sentences into the conversation, I'm like, oh, okay, I see where you're at. You're cool, you're a nice person, I can tell, but we probably should stop talking here because it's just not I'm gonna end up saying something that you're either not gonna agree with or whatever,
be prepared for.
And then it's gonna either go way over your head, or I'm gonna end up having to not even defend myself, because I'm not going to sit there and defend something I say, because I don't really say stuff unless there's a reason or there's a meaning behind it. I don't like to idle talk. I don't really do that. It's hard for me. Like, I feel myself forcing it when I have that, hey, how's the weather outside conversation with people. You know,
at work, it's okay to have those, but like, it's only to get through the day.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I do the same things all the time. I collect carts at Sprouts, and every time I grab a cart from like an elderly person, I try to make them laugh by going, "Oh yeah, we valet the carts here." Yeah. And that is every single time.
But see, like, exactly. But that's more creative than just, you know, that's something to get a kick for yourself and to help the day go by. You know, I understand that stuff.
It was funnier the first time I said it.
You know, but
yeah, definitely that's why I vibe with you too, man. Like, I can't tell you guys, like, whoever's watching this, or if anyone ever does decide to tune in, like, I honestly feel that this is like the rare parts of life. Finding this brings more warmth and life and breath and pick your word. To more color to your life than anything else. Like, you keep chasing material things, you're going to feel everything's kind of just black and white. And if you want that color back in, find that authenticity, find people you really connect with that have these real conversations that sometimes challenge you or help expand your ideas. And sometimes it takes being at a certain part of your life to get there. Because those people will probably already be at that stage. But, you know, that's maybe hopefully this podcast helps you achieve that. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, we're not perfect. I mean, we're still growing. I mean, I ain't shit.
Yeah, me neither, nigga.
But admitting to that is half of it.
Yeah, 100%, man. We are, at the end of this, we're grateful, man. You know,
just be grateful.
You just got to be grateful. I'm very grateful for this. You know, I'm trying to improve, man. I know this nigga is too, and I know everybody out there is trying to improve in one way or another. So hopefully we can open your minds with that as you continue to watch, as we continue to talk. You know, we're gonna be challenging each other. We're gonna keep expanding. You know, with everyone we do, even if this never goes nowhere, nigga, we're improving, and this improvement is gonna add into the other aspects of our lives, and that is a great thing for me, and I'm grateful for that in and of itself. So,
and you know, there'll be times where we really agree on things and we get excited, and you'll see it on our face.
Yeah, definitely.
Because nothing here is going to be contrived. It's just going to be off the cuff. That's why there'll be mistakes. That's why I'll look like a goofball at times. I'll do stupid things, say stupid things, and I apologize ahead of time for any of that. And there'll be times we disagree.
Yeah,
and that will be exciting content for you guys, and also for us at the stage that we're at in our life. We'll know that it's a great opportunity to grow and expand, but with someone that's fully present and fully aware and authentic is the blessing I receive.
For sure.
With that conversation. That's my gift. So I'm grateful for our future agreements and disagreements.
Yes.
I'm grateful for you guys watching. If you're watching, if not, then you didn't see that. So I don't know why I said that. See, mistakes, I'm full of them. And I'm grateful for the podcast. This is cool.
This is great.
Yeah.
This was a great one, man. Thank you, Matt. My guy.
Seriously, man, that was fun.
Yeah, it's legit, son. Hey, man, this is cool. I can't wait to keep doing more of this stuff, man.
Shoot, man. Hey, the podcast allows us to have more conversations like this, so I'm down, man.
Yeah,
let's podcast it up.
Yeah, son. You already know. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll catch y'all later. We'll have some maybe a little fancier stuff next time, We're going to ever improve, So just stay tuned in, and we'll keep providing y'all with some quality.